think now what's exciting, there's been a huge groundswell of momentum behind the smart health card standard that we co-developed. States started with Louisiana, then California adopted the standard to make these digital smart health cards available to Californians. New York just embraced smart health cards, our standard for their Excelsior Pass platform. Big pharmacies like Walmart and CVS are already making them available, as are hundreds of health systems across the country. So the good news is, by our estimate, by the end of September, about 150 million Americans should be able to get access to their vaccination records using the smart health card digital format.
Right. So you're working with tech companies, healthcare providers, Walgreens, CVS. Talk to us about what sort of progress you expect to make and how important you think this will be.
Well, I think it's really important because, as we're seeing, venues, but also countries and others are requiring proof of vaccination. And so I don't think it'll happen everywhere, but we're seeing schools, we're seeing employers, we're seeing bars in San Francisco and New York requiring proof of vaccination. And this becomes a scalable and secure way of demonstrating your vaccination status. In terms of progress, this is real. California in June made this technology available to all Californians who have been vaccinated in the state. So you can download a digital copy of your vaccination record with a QR code, which you can then scan or upload. And again, New York is done the same. So this is it's real, and it's many more states are following suit.
You recently announced a partnership with Samsung to help users securely store their proof of vaccination. Is Apple next?
Well, Apple in June announced their support for Smart Health Cards standard with the release of iOS 15 coming in September. So in a couple of weeks, Apple will provide support. Google already has provided support through Google Pay. And today we're delighted to announce our partnership with Samsung so that if you have a Samsung Galaxy phone, you can store this Smart Health Card vaccination record in Samsung Pay. You can also use Common Health, our electronic health record platform, to be able to access those Smart Health Cards and save them to your Samsung Pay wallet.
While the world still waits for a COVID jab, China has come up with a way to limit the virus's spread. It's calling for a global firewall in the form of a global system of QR codes that would allow cross-border travel to resume.
China has proposed a global mechanism for the mutual recognition of health certificates based on nucleic acid test results in the form of internationally accepted QR codes. We hope more countries will join this mechanism.
China has been using QR codes to prove health status since February. The system has been questioned in the West on data privacy grounds, however, although Europe has proposed similar schemes, including the idea of immunity passports in the UK. RT Saskia Taylor discussed the issue with our panel of guests.
These tests can have a lot of false negatives and a lot of false positives. And you are now going to track and trace me where I'm going in terms of this town or that town. This is incredibly dangerous, and it's not really for my safety. And you're seeing in the United States, as well as across the globe, the people are starting to rise up and saying, enough, stop protecting me. I want to live my life the way I choose.
I was reading today at Heathrow Airport, used to be one of the busiest. It's seen 82% fall in passengers. What's the way then to get wheels out into the air, if not a similar system to this?
The reason that travel has collapsed is not the pandemic, it's the lockdowns. I mean, since March 12th, Europe has not been able to fly to the U.S., and then Europe retaliated and we can't fly there. And now we're living under this egregious situation where, we once believed in the right to travel, but that's being denied to us. I mean, people are being locked in their nation states right now. The answer is liberalism, is to liberate travel, liberate and recognize human rights again.
A Singapore court has sentenced a British man to 6 weeks in prison after repeatedly breaching coronavirus protocols by refusing to wear a face mask in public. Benjamin Glynn, 40, was found guilty on 4 charges over his failure to wear a mask on a train in May and at his subsequent court appearance in July, as well as causing a public nuisance and using threatening words towards public servants. Glynn was earlier subjected to a psychiatric assessment ordered by the judge as a result of his conduct and remarks in court. He asked the court to drop what he called unlawful charges and asked for his passport to be returned so that he could go back to Britain to be with his family. The Asian Business Hub is well known for its enforcement of strict rules and has jailed and fined others for breaking COVID-19 regulations. Some foreigners have had their work permit revoked for rule breaches.
I've done nothing wrong. Yes, sir, I 100% agree that you have done nothing wrong when it comes to the wearing of the mask. But they have every right to ask you not to be here. I know you're a student, paying student.
30% of U.S. adults still don't want to get the COVID vaccine, but they may not have much of a choice. Bonnie Jacobson knows this all too well. The Brooklyn resident was recently let go from her job after refusing to get inoculated.
I was sitting at home and I all of a sudden just opened an email. I'm sitting on my couch and it said, basically, while we respect your decision at this time, your employment has been terminated.
You know, we are essential workers and we're considered frontline, so we have to be leaders and set an example for the community, our patients, and our families.
I took the shot because I needed to. Because I work in a facility, I be around the elder. I don't want them to catch anything. I don't want to give them nothing. I have my co-workers, and I don't want to pass it on to them.
I got the vaccine because I believe in science. I believe in being a leader in getting these vaccines and to mentor toward healthcare, toward this cure in this pandemic.
I got the shot because I want my family to be protected from the virus. I have a mother-in-law that lives with me and a daughter that also has asthma, so I want to make sure that they're protected. I think it's our responsibility to protect the community as well.
This is very important to me because I truly feel like it is going to impact the community and keep me safe, as well as protecting myself, as well as others that I'm around.
It's like taking a deep breath, being able to really exhale. And now that I've had the shot, it just definitely puts my nerves and it just puts myself at ease.
These vaccines are hard to come by, and I'm just so excited to have the opportunity to have received my very first injection.
But cases in vaccinated people do happen. The CDC estimates about 35,000 per week among 162 million people in the U.S. who are vaccinated. Now, the agency released a case study today on the major outbreak we've been hearing about in Provincetown, Massachusetts, that began around July 4th, where among 469 cases in Massachusetts, 74% were fully vaccinated. We spoke with a young man who came down with COVID after visiting.
I work out 5 or 6 days a week, and I was truly off my feet for 6 out of the past 11 days, which was shocking to me and surprising.
Now, he said he was fully vaccinated.
The 15 days that we had of mitigation clearly have had an effect, although it's tough to quantitate it because of those two opposing forces. But the reason why we feel so strongly about the necessity of the additional 30 days.
Several months later.
A contaminant found in a batch of Moderna's COVID-19 vaccines delivered to Japan is believed to be a metallic particle. That's according to a report by Japanese public broadcaster NHK, citing sources at the Health Ministry. Japan on Thursday suspended the use of 1.63 million doses shipped to hundreds of vaccination centres nationwide. The move came more than a week after the domestic distributor, Takeda Pharmaceutical, received reports of contaminants in some vials. The NHK report cited ministry sources as saying the particle reacted to magnets and was therefore suspected to be a metal.
आजकल आप देखते होंगे कि काफी वीडियो वायरल हो रहे हैं जिसमें बताया जा रहा है कि वैक्सीन लेने के बाद शरीर के ऊपर चमचे चिपक रहे, कॉइन्स चिपक रहे और बताया गया रहा है कि ये वैक्सीन का एक साइड इफेक्ट है.
दादा मैंने 5 दिन पहले वैक्सीन लिया था, ठीक है. वैक्सीन लेने के बाद आज मैं बस ऐसे न्यूज़ देख रहा था, तो न्यूज़ में दिखाया गया कि चम्मच बॉडी में सट रहा है वैक्सीन लेने के बाद। तो मैंने सोचा मैं भी ट्राई करूं, ठीक है। तो मैंने जब चम्मच लेके बॉडी में सटाया तो मेरा भी बॉडी में चम्मच चिपक रहा है।
जब से मेरी वैक्सीन लगी, वैक्सीन लगने के कुछ दिन बाद से ही मेरे लोहे के सिक्के और पेन ड्राइव चिपकना शुरू हो गए हैं। ये एक अजीब सा है, डॉक्टर भी इसको समझ नहीं पा रहे हैं।
The state government announced the proposed legislation today. It's in part due to the stabbing of a police dog during an arrest in Brisbane last year.
I would say to